Hey guys, back with Koliah, and today we have Daniel Kong with us.
King Kong today.
Yeah. We wanted to, just talk to Daniel and see what he's up to, and ask him how he got his start, and just kind of highlight him as an individual that is pretty successful in the REI community here in Hawaii, and he's humble apparently. So let's just dig right into it.
Sure.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into REI?
Yeah, so about a few years ago in 2018, I was working as a software developer here in Hawaii. I read this magical book, you guys probably heard of it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Blew my mind, opened my eyes to the whole idea of passive investing, understanding investing, kind of deep dove into that. So I was working my 9 to 5 from 5 to 12, I was trying to invest in real estate.
Yeah.
So over the course, a lot of bigger pockets, a lot of they're really high on the BRRRR strategy, which is kind of a way that you can attain cash flowing rentals with none of your money, right? So when I started, I didn't have any money, and so with some education, some hard work, over the next 3 years, we built up enough passive income to replace what I was making at my W-2. So in 3 years, doing the BRRRR strategy, both out of state and in Hawaii, we made a little under $10,000 net a month from my rental portfolio. And then at that point in time, it was now it was work optional. So there was we actually did in two and a half years, but then it took another 6 months to convince my wife to let me to quit my job. But
right.
At that point, I was hey, honey, I'm the real estate is taking off. I want to do this over my job. Let me quit. So after 6 months of negotiations, okay, you can quit.
So that's 6 months of track record too, right?
Yeah, well, 2.5 years of track record, right?
Yeah.
But 6 months of can we negotiate this thing, right?
Bringing up the idea every.
Yeah.
And then so eventually, the thing is we were already secure because our passive income was making more than I was making at my W-2.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to just quit, we were still making the same amount of money, right? And so it was kind of a safe bet, I felt at that point in time.
For sure.
And then so from there, I just in 2020, at the end of 2021, I left my job as a software developer. 2022 and 2023 just kind of been trying to grow as an investor, build a small team. Now we're kind of flipping houses here in Hawaii, doing a little bit commercial, a little bit syndications, a few things here and there, but just trying to grow as an entrepreneur and as an investor right now. So.
Wow, that's a lot. It seems you're doing pretty good. And recently I saw on your Instagram you've got some sort of internship.
Yeah. So part of I think so I actually. I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but I used to do some youth ministry back in the day. So working with students, I think it's always been a passion for me to coach younger students or other kids up. And so I think it was a natural progression as I was having some success and getting some social media notoriety. A lot of people would reach out and say hey, how can I do what you're doing? And so I was hey, this seems like the perfect opportunity to coach some young kids or some people who are coming up or just starting out. So they don't have to be young; they just have to be new to the real estate industry, right, or to investing.
Okay.
And so I just thought hey, it's a perfect way where we can get some labor, pay them a little bit of money, and then also they can get some some benefit in return, right?
Yeah.
So we've kind of started one. I think it was probably about a year ago, just a small internship, and over the last year and a half, it kind of ballooned into different it morphed over time as you kind of made mistakes, ton of mistakes in the very beginning, right? But the whole idea is kind of coaching up some of these younger kids or these newer investors, help them kind of get their start in investing with a real life investor, and do some work for us at the same time. So
and I think that a lot of what we do is problem solving. Mm-hmm. So even though you're going through that process and evolving, that's kind of on the fly, you're gonna have to figure stuff out anyway, right?
That's the life of an entrepreneur investor. I figure it's you're trying to figure out as you go along, right? Yeah. So it's ready, fire, aim, right? You're just let's get it started and just kind of figure it along the way, right? So the first batch was hey, we don't know what we're doing for internship, but it sounds like a great idea. Let's just try it, right? So tried a few different iterations, tried different things, we had our interns doing a challenge at one point, trying to get their own out-of-state BRRRR for a little while. A few different kind of things we over time, it just got better and better, I think, as far as the structure, the incentives, and just the teaching across the board. And so I think our last 3 months, I think it was our best one yet. But I think hopefully the next version will be
even better than
that.
that. Yeah. So just constantly progressing.
Yeah, exactly.
And would you say that the industry itself, as far as real estate investing, is kind of evolving as well?
I think so. When you look back, let's say 10 years ago, nobody really knew anything about real estate investing. We probably didn't even have the internet back then or whatever. So just information was not as disseminated as it is now. Yeah. And so I think the old school investors, they just kind of kept to themselves, and who knows how they learn their things. They probably learned it from their dad or some close friends.
Maybe some businessmen.
So there's no coaching programs. There's no kind of the YouTube university that there is now. But because of the partly the internet and like social media, like kind of like all together, like there's such an influx of information, and so like everything is available now, and you get to see what other guys are doing. And so I think it's very good because now like a guy who has like no experience, they can just watch YouTube or join a coaching program and kind of like be accelerated to like what maybe taking like 5 or 10 years like back in the day, right?
Right.
And so it's just going to continue to increase like the level of skill level, and also like opportunity and availability, and also communities like this where you can sit alongside other guys, you can see what other guys are doing, you can partner together, you can join these like online or in-person communities and kind of like grow as an investor. And so I think it's just a matter of time before like we're at like a trajectory that's just taking off and just going to get bigger and bigger.
Nice.
Yeah, the information age.
Yeah.
I know you talked to me about it before, but I wanted to ask you, what was that first step? Like, I know you looked at like Bigger Pockets forums, contacted people in Indy and all this stuff. But what was there like one event here or anything, like an in-person event that you went to? Or did you just kind of start taking action?
Honestly, when I first started, I didn't go to any events. Like it was just like me, head down.
Action.
Like I read Bishop Porter, I was like, this is amazing. So like I just started reading books, and so it's like huge like Brandon Turner, like the book on rental property investing and like the BRRRR strategies, honestly real estate investing. And so I literally was reading like 3 or 4 books a week. Like just reading for like the first like couple of weeks, just trying to learn and like just absorb as much, and then just listen to podcasts. So like on my drive to work through traffic, just like listen to podcasts, or whenever I'm going anywhere, just trying to get absorbing. And the thing is like you're kind of like immersing yourself in the world. It's like all day, all night, I'm just thinking about real estate investing. Like it's just like I dream about
downloading
it. It's like
I did that too.
So
what was I gonna say? I keep saying it, but it's like action is just like a pressure release valve information.
Yes.
And I definitely don't knock people for like reading books and stuff. Of course, you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna start taking action, but having that comfortability of like actually kind of learning the lingo or like super simple.
Without the stress
from
of
reading those books, I think it's important.
I think I just super hungry. Like I was like this. I just opened up this world that I didn't know existed. Right? It's like passive income. Like you don't have to work and you can make money. Right? Like I like literally like it was never even on my radar. I was like that was like it's like going to the moon for me. It was like so when like it opened up this whole like world of like passive, the world of passive income. Now I was like, okay, like this, like I dig this, like like how can I create this? And so like my wheels are spinning, and I just like dove 100% into like the passive income world. So 40 hours of my day job, and then 80 hours like real estate investing. It was kind of how it was.
Wow.
120 hours a week. No,
I mean I had no. I think I wasn't no girlfriend and no I think I might have been like dating or something with my wife, but like no kids. Like so, I just like all my energy was just like work and then real estate investing. So.
And then I know you were it was software, right, for 20 years. But what was that first reason why you picked up the book, anyways? Like why? How did you find the book?
It was random, like cause like I was just like I was doing some youth ministry stuff at the time, and so like I kind of stepped down from that role. I was like. So I just had this big, like, all this free time on my hands. Like, what should I do with myself, right? And so somebody just recommended it randomly, like, hey, I'm like, I like reading. I like self-development. I just like it's a part of, like, my life. I just like to improve myself. And so, like, I was like, what book should I read now? And so I was like, hey, read this, like, book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And so, okay, it's, like, random. I don't know anything about it. I read it. I was like, I probably read it, like, in one night, I think. I'm like, when you picked it up, it was just, like...
Just ate it up.
Yeah, I just ate it up. So. Wow. It was like
so you were probably like hungry for some edification of some sort, and here it was, and that you figured out this is it. It's what you've been waiting for. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe not what I was waiting for, but just like I mean, it was like as a whole like a light bulb moment for me. Yeah,
for sure.
That's good. That's good. What do you think makes you different as far as like that hunger that maybe some other people don't realize they need, or whether they can? It's almost a skill set, right? Is it? Or is it just innate? I mean, I don't know. In me, it's just...
I don't even know how to...
I feel like...
Because you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, so I think, like, there's one thing is, like, there's the vehicle and there's a motor, right? So, like, the vehicle of real estate investing is something that can take you very far. So, like, if you're in a vehicle, let's say, like, you're working at McDonald's, there's a ceiling to how far you can go, right? Let's say you're in a vehicle of, let's say, like, crypto, you can go high, you can also go very low, right? There's, like... But I think real estate investing is, like, a safe way to have, like, a high ceiling, but then you still need the motor behind it. Yeah. And so, like, I think just naturally, I've always been kind of, like, a high motor guy where, like, I just... Once I find something, I just like go all in on it like that. I was like super into jiu-jitsu for a little while. Like all day, I just like watch videos about
jiu-jitsu. Obsessed almost.
Yeah, I just obsessed. So I think so. Like I think so. Real estate investing works even with a small motor it's just gonna take you longer to get there, right? So like the same amount of like, let's say like you like are like reading like, let's say like one book a month, right? But I'm reading 3 or 4 books a week. I'm gonna read the same amount of books in a month that you read in like 2 years, right? So like it's like if you can push yourself to like have a stronger motor, then you can like take your vehicle faster versus like you'll still get there, it's just gonna take you a little bit more time. So
inputs and outputs, right?
Yeah.
I think from my experience with real estate and in the lending industry, it seems like there may be other areas of investing. Like you don't necessarily have to be the one that does it all. Maybe it seems like there's teams coming out. So maybe that's in the real estate industry, it's pretty prominent where there's a lot of team environments going on. And now I'm starting to go to the meetups and it's like, oh, look at these crew, like 5 guys walking in with the same shirt and stuff. So
like many companies.
So is that something that you think is kind of part of your program too? Like they can figure out, well, maybe not the acquisition part's not good at, but I can do social media or whatever with somebody, and then somebody else is good at analyzing the deals because they're a number person. Do you see that as kind of
100%? I think, and so like when you first starting out by yourself, you have to do everything because like you don't have you can't afford to pay somebody else, right? Like you have to do everything, and so like I progress as an investor, like I tried to hire the parts that I was not good at or I didn't like. So like first thing, like administrative work, like in front of the computer, typing out documents or giving things to escrow, like it's just like painful for me. Like, it's like, let's hire an admin. And then the next part is like, let's hire like a project manager to help manage the projects. And so I just try to focus on finding deals. We kind of come to a point now where we have like all the parts of like the flipping/burn investing like company kind of built out where I'm not doing like the day-to-day, but I'm kind of like overseeing. And so like you have like this little machine that has like all the different parts and you're like, let's put more money over here or let's like adjust this to make it more efficient. But if you're in it in day-to-day, it's very hard to take yourself out and kind of like really see where the holes are. Exactly. So.
Oh, and so that's from beginning to now, how long was that? 3 years?
So 2019 was my first full year of business investing. Then 2022 is when I left my job. And then 2021 I left my job. And then 2022 and 23 I've been building a team. So
Nice. And any goals or aspirations for next year?
Just do more deals, bigger deals. I mean, like that. We're starting to do some commercial deals, some multifamily syndication. So we have a few. Like the thing is just like at a certain point, you're trying to get the highest ROI on your time, right?
Just
so like
efficiency, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like let's say like you work at McDonald's, you put like an hour, you get like let's say $12, right? Let's say as a real estate investor, like when you're first starting out, you put in like an hour, you get like say like $50, right? Let's say now you own a small like real estate flipping company, you put in an hour, you get like say $200. So now you're just trying to get like how can I put in an hour and get like $500 or $1,000, right? So like bigger deals, it's like the exact same like the amount of time for a deal, but like the profit and then also like the reward is bigger, right? So like the bigger deals you can do, the better the ROI on your time.
So is it risk reward is still there? The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yes and no. And so the thing is like whenever like there's a high dollar amount, there's always more risk inherently, right? Because like there's more
larger dollar amount,
But at the same time, the more educated you are and the more like niche that you have, the more like you can reduce that risk, right? So like if you know nothing, it's super risky to invest in real estate. Right. But if you have all like the contingencies in place, and you have like all the things, and if you buy like let's say really deep, then like you have this built-in cushion where like the risk can be very minimal as long as you have like these things like
you can take the hits.
Or no, I mean like just like let's say like for instance like you're to buy like your house you live in. Let's say your house is worth $1 million, right? If you buy it for like 900. There's like you got like a little bit of equity that's okay, like I can like make some mistakes here. But if you buy that same house for 500, like no matter what happens, you're kind of like safe like throughout like that. Because you have the built-in like you put in the work in the front end and you went through all the different things like I got insurance, I got like the contractors who like I'm gonna pay them after. There's like you have all these systems and processes and things where like you kind of ensure that there's like all the things that could go wrong, you've already thought of them or you have contingencies for them. So
nice. And you highlight those in your internships?
Yeah, well, I mean, the internship is really like it's more over like it's a more bigger picture things, I think. So like we'll go through like nitty gritty on like deal to deal, but like the parts of like what I'm talking about will definitely be highlighted in the internship. So yeah.
Nice. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I heard that you used to have some wild cash flow games.
We've done a few cash flow games, I think. I mean, when I first started, I went to like a few cash flow games. I think they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It kind of opens up your eyes to kind of like see like how the passive investing again, right? Like that, like replacing your job with like the passive income, and kind of like the cash flow game talks about like trying to get out of the rat race, right? So like you have a job or you have a car, like you have like you're either an airline pilot or like you're a teacher, like you have a job, you're trying to get like enough rental properties or like stocks or income passively to replace what you're doing with your car, your 9 to 5, right? It's like it's kind of like a real life monopoly.
It's like trading with paper money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I heard this in another podcast, so if somebody watches this one, I hope it kind of changes their perception. But you got like $100,000 in lines of credit from going to different banks on the same day. You tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I first started, I didn't have any money, and so like I had a good job, like good credit, no debt, but I'm bad at spend. I just spend, like I eat out, like I just like living my best life, but like not like within reason, like just never really had a savings when I first started, and I wasn't financial literate, I think. But I mean, I like my parents just like debt's bad, so I just never had debt. Like it's like this living like debt free, but also like no savings. And then when I first started, like you don't have to have money yourself to do real estate investing, but there's money involved somewhere, right? So like you need to have access to money in some form or fashion, whether it's private lending, banking, Loan Depot, or like banks, whatever it is. Like they need to have access to money in some way. And so when I first started, like a strategy someone once like suggested was like you can go to like these banks like in Hawaii, like First Hawaiian, like Bank of Hawaii, and take out this thing called a personal line of credit. And so the personal line of credit, like you don't need to have like own any house. You can it's based on like your income and your credit score, and that's all they'll check. So then like I was like, hey, like that sounds like a great way to have access to some cash so I can do my first deal. So I went to like 5 banks on the same day in Koliah, right? So you go to like Bank of Hawaii, Central Pacific, First Hawaii State Federal Credit Union, CPB, ASB, whatever, and I applied for a personal line of credit. So they'll give you like $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 in just a personal line of credit, and then like that for whatever whatever they feel like you can qualify for. Yeah. And so like I went on the same day because when I filled out the applications, it's like I didn't have any other debt in my name. So then like, it's like versus if I already had all the lines of credit, it would be like, oh, you already have like 3 personal lines of credit. We're not gonna give you another one. Right? So like just one day, so I applied to like 5 different banks, and then they all gave me like 15, 20, 25, and then so I had like $100,000 plus in just lines of credit that I could access. And the way that lines of credit works is like you can pull it while you have it out, you're paying interest on it, and then when you put it back, you're not paying interest on it. So that's how I did my first deals in Indianapolis. Was like you can buy a house for like $50,000, fix it up for $20,000, then refinance out, get your $70,000 back, and then put it back inside like the bank. So that's how I started.
How's that secret sauce for you? Wow! And how'd you hear about that? He's got his network of like. He's digging deep for that one.
Because I tried it.
But also too is like I also took a loan against my 401k because if you take out money from your 401k, you gotta pay taxes and penalties. But if you take a loan against it, there's no penalties.
You pay it back into the low rate too.
Well, you pay back any interest you pay back yourself, you're getting yourself. So like it's basically like free money back to yourself, right? So like anything you pay back to the loan, it's like money that's going back to yourself. So like there's no real interest on the loan itself. So like if you take out a loan, I think the max is $50,000 or half, whatever is less. But then you can take a loan against your 401k for access to more capital. So
just a big one.
Yeah, that is. And then you still have a 401k, or did you roll that all into real estate?
It's a solo 401k. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So we were talking earlier, and so let's do a cash flow game.
Yeah. Down.
We'll make it a fundraiser, and it's gonna whatever money that we can generate from the game, it'll be towards winner take all. Winner's gonna get to choose the nonprofit that the proceeds will go to, and it's got to be financial literacy or somehow tied to the community, and we can go through the different nonprofits at that time when you sign up for the game. So there's going to be a buy-in. At that time, you can come with the nonprofit that you want to represent if you win, and the money will go to them. And we'll put together some details about location, time, all that stuff, and rules for the tournament. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, yeah. I think that cash flow game is going to be great.
Have you played cash flow before?
Yes, yeah. I played it before. Really like the game. It's really weird in the sense where when you play it the first time, is like almost exactly what it's like.
Like the real life,
your
like
real
it's,
life
yeah, because it has like a
right
car,
now.
like this is how
It's
much your expenses are, this is how much you make, right? And like that.
And you picture yourself as the janitor, like, wow, hey.
No, it's just like well, even just like my fiance played it one time at Daniel's place, but she was landing on all the doodads, and doodads are like when you go and you just spend money on this random stuff. So that she was landing on like all of these, like went shopping,
So
like
real
went
life,
to
real
Ross,
life.
went to Target,
Amazon.
and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "This game is weird."
Karma,
huh?"
yeah, karma.
Yeah.
It speaks the truth.
Yeah, it is.
Why don't lie?
When you play it, it's
like a Ouija board.
it's weird. Yeah, it is
Funny,
weird
that's funny.
because you learn that way. You know, you learn that.
You
way
see
and
doodads
can
differently,
implement
right?
it.
Like when you after you play the games, like actually I don't really need that new TV or I don't really need that new car, right? It's like that. I'd rather
Yeah.
put it more towards like my passive investing journey or something along those lines.
Yeah, and then you know what? One of the guys I played with the very first time I played cash flow was with CJ.
Okay.
But you know, watching him play it, and you know, some people they save their money, then they pay off their debts.
Mm-hmm.
But what he was focusing on is just making more money.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
making
yeah,
more
yeah.
cash flow.
Using the
Um,
debt to like make more money, right? So,
Yeah, exactly. So he was just focusing on making more cash flow, more so like he was telling me, why would you save the money to like save a small portion
Yeah.
of like your expenses
Yeah.
when you could just focus on creating
Cash
more
flow it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know,
that makes sense.
And that kind of, my first time playing it was kind of a light bulb.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
It's just figuring out how to maximize it to its fullest potential, basically, right?
Within
Yeah.
reason, right? You gotta be
Within-
safe.
yeah,
You need
yeah.
a safety net,
Yeah.
etc. But like, there's always like it's a scale, right? You can be like super conservative and like just never like you will pay off your debt before you do anything, or you can be super like reckless where like you take out too much debt and like you can't handle like the low. But there's somewhere in between where like, you want to maximize like your opportunities within like with a safety net behind you, right? So
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think lines of credit are a great safety net because like you have act like let's say like you have like a savings account, right? But like, take that savings account and buy like rental properties or like do some deals where you can like make money. But if you have a line of credit, now like you still have access to cash, but it's not sitting here burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah.
So like you take all the money in your checking and savings, use that to do deals, but have the line of credits. Like let's say something does hit the fan, can I have access to money that I can use? Like okay, pay off like whatever, like the car crash, whatever the kind of thing that you need an emergency line,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew anything about lines of credit before until I think listening to you talk about it. And
That's good.
yeah, it's just like a
It's stuck, apparently.
It's a big
Mhm.
credit card, basically,
Yeah.
you know, and it's a
but it's
Bigger
cheap. It's like a
line.
lower. It's like
and it's cheap, yeah.
it's what I think at the time the introductory rates were like 3 or 4% for like a year or 2 years, and they're probably run between like 5 to like 9% like on the lines of credit right? Versus like a credit card is like 25%, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Oh, I just thought, what introduced me to that was the lending club. Remember that? Were you familiar with that? Where
Yeah,
you
the
actually,
online one, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
So,
So
you
that-
can do like other investors.
because they actually teach you to actually pull out a line of credit, use that to fund the loans, and then you're getting paid back the note.
I see.
Yeah, that was the theory. You ever hear about that?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
There's
You
also
get-
like there's also like those 0% interest credit cards. I know like there's some guys that have a service where like they'll take out all like the lines. I mean, there's these credit cards in your business name for like 100 grand,
Mhm.
and then like it's like 0% for like 12 months. So like you have the 12 months to kind of use it, and then you can either
Roll
close
it
them
over,
or whatever
roll
like
it,
at
yeah.
that point. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. You guys use any of those?
I
business
just signed up for like a company that's doing it for me right now. It's like I think I just got like 100 grand in like 0% credit cards on a business for like. But it's like they charge like $4 to do the service.
Is
Yeah,
it just a
yeah.
setup? The $4 is just for the setup, or is it?
I mean, it's like they'll take like 10% of whatever they make for you up to a max of $4,000. So
Oh, okay.
Nice. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Access to capital.
yeah,
And this creative financing, right?
you're trying to get access to capital any way that you can. The cheaper, the better, right? So
That's interesting. Is that something that's kind of a little bit more hush hush, or?
no,
it's
I mean, yeah,
something that
if, like feel free to like it's
if people have questions, they go to Instagram.
I think just make sure there's a lot of like scammers and like the
Right.
things on there. So just be careful. Like, don't pay money to somebody who's not like until you vet everything first. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
never want to like give money.
So you're paying them up front to do that for you.
I don't remember like the thing, but like they're a pretty bigger company. I don't remember what they're called. But, like it was at like a conference. I think it was at Multifamily Mindset.
Yeah.
Pathway.
I forget the guy's name.
Yeah, but I mean like it's I mean you want to make sure that they're legit and then because like not some random guy who like DMs you on Instagram, like you know. So.
You think that information is something we can figure out later and put it out there for
Yeah,
people?
definitely. Yeah.
We'll look into that. And then, so we'll talk about the game and how to hold the tournament. And I am happy that we get to do that because it kind of adds a little bit of fun factor to investing and the community. I like the camaraderie of the community because everybody's so willing to give.
Hawaii is a really special place, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody is so giving and helpful.
You think this our community and the culture that we have here is it like specific or unique to Hawaii, or you think it's
There are definitely communities out on the mainland that are similar, but I think Hawaii has like a special like kind of just like the culture of like our like the Aina like the aloha spirit, and I think like it bleeds a lot into like into our community that we have. I think so.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and appreciate your willingness to be so open and share.
Yeah, I mean, like, ask me anything, man. I'm an open book, so like anything you want to know, I'm happy to share. Let me tell you some Koliah secrets too.
Yeah, there you go. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, ask any questions. Ask those questions. Yeah, I just gotta think of some more stuff.
Okay, tell us about this Batmobile you got. What's the
Kid.
Is that a doodad?
It's a doodad, yeah. It's definitely a doodad.
Can you pull a line of credit from it?
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't?
Well, we financed it, right? So
okay.
Hard money?
Yeah.
I mean, it basically, I say like it's like don't do that. Like don't buy anything like don't buy doodads until like you hit a certain point in your cash flow, your passive income.
So it's okay. It is okay at a certain point. You should be able to.
As long as your rental property covers your life, and then you have extra to cover doodads, then I think that at that point it's okay. But don't buy it before your passive income covers your doodads.
Good.
Assets to pay for liabilities. Right? Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's good to have like goals. I think like you want like let's say you want a big house, let's say you want a nice car, whatever it is. Like I think a lot of times that will drive people to like do more than they would normally.
Mm-hmm.
But then just realize like don't make that the reward after you like hit achievement. Like it's like make sure you take care of like yourself, take care of your family. Then you have extra. Now you can like spend that extra on like a doodad or whatever the things that you're gonna want to buy.
You think that discipline is something that is a little bit misplaced in maybe households or individuals?
Definitely. I think like a lot of people like you get it backwards where like you want to buy the doodad first, and like I mean there's nothing wrong with it. You're just gonna you're gonna shortchange or you're gonna lengthen your journey, right? As far as like financial independence and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so focus on the financial replacement of your.
It's exactly the cash flow game. It's like
you
can you'll get there eventually. It's gonna take you way longer. Like you just keep on buying doodads. Like it's just gonna you're never gonna, or it'll take longer for you to build up your cash flow, right? But if you just do all cash flow, and then boom, now you can just buy as many doodads as you want without having to like worry about it, right?
Yeah, because you earned it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think same thing. Just like you said, even when I kind of read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I was same thing. Always grew up like. Debt is bad. My grandma used to always say that. Debt is bad.
Credit cards are bad.
Just subconsciously already think like, okay, debt is bad. Read this book where this guy's like, debt is great, or like debt is a tool, And then I kind of had a light bulb even when I was working. I was just like, hey, actually, I don't have any liabilities. Like I never wanted to get into debt for either a car.
There's always
I was the same way. I always bought my cars. I saved up and I borrowed my cars cash because I was sort of like debt is bad. So I tried to never have a car loan or like any kind of loans, and then I tried to pay off my student loans as fast as I could. Today I'll take as many loans as I can. I love loans as long as they're a low interest rate, because like if I can borrow at a 4 or 5% interest rate, like I'll make a 20 or 25% like on the interest rate. So like that. We borrow at 12% for our fixed deals. And we borrow like millions of dollars at 12%. So like if I can get money at 4%, I'm like super happy.
So. I think a lot of people. 0%. I think a lot of people don't realize that percentage may sound like a small number, but it's actually really good on the scale of the type of returns that are available out there.
See that's crazy too, because even like my contractor, he has his house fully paid off. Kind of telling him about the line of credit, and he's just like, dude, the rate is so high, it's like 6%, 5%. I'm like, dude, we're borrowing it at 12%. Cheap.
So you're 6% ahead.
It's all like relative, right?
You would have to invest in something with $100,000 that won't make over, say, $6,000 a year. Like, what vehicle isn't gonna do that or yield that? You know what I mean? Maybe like a CD or something like that. But and then I started, once I read that book, I was like, oh, I don't have any liabilities. Okay, focus on the assets.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where.
That's good. Start with a
Very
clean
important.
slate.
Yeah. So still trying to get into that, net worth, asset stuff, but kind of building up the active income for it.
Solid, very solid.
I'm starting to see some emotions out of him. He gets very frustrated when people don't get that you have so much potential, you're not tapping into it.
Yeah, but no, just like he said,
can't
like how we were talking,
yeah.
you can't. I just come back full circle to that every single time, and I ask these guys too about that. Like, how do you deal with that?
Deal with what? What are you talking
No,
about?
just like not necessarily like wanting more for them, but just kind of like shining the light on like.
You talking about other investors or other people who are like
No,
who are in the race?
No, just other people that are maybe in the race, or maybe like interns, or just people that are just like, hey, if you do this, you could be financially free. Yeah. But then there's like,
just like the gears are not clicking like
for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it's just like everybody they don't.
I think some people have a certain capacity too. Like there's a season, there's a timing. It's all relative.
I was just listening to something from Jim Rohn, and he was kind of talking a little bit like that. Like some people just aren't ready for it, and then the value that you have in your life now is like kind of what you deserve because you've done.
And to be honest with you, like, not everybody wants to be financially free. Like, I mean, it's not important to everybody. Like when I was working at W2, I was happy. Like there's nothing. I was like happy with my life. Like like no debt. I'm never gonna own a house. Like I'm fine renting for the rest of my life. Like I was like very grateful and very happy for my life, just living in America. So like not everybody's goal is like financial freedom or to have a nice house, a nice car.
Maybe it's just a supplement, make it a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm just saying, like, is there's nothing wrong with just live a nice
doing
life,
what you're doing,
have a good family, be a good, do good to the world, and like, there's no reason why you need like financial independence or these things. That it's just because we're in these circles where all of us value it. We think like this is what you should do, right? But like, there's a lot of people who are like, it's not important to me. Like, I just want to make sure like my kids have enough to eat and they can go to school. Like, So.
Yeah, and we talked about that before on another episode. Just like people just have different values.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much what it is. And that's why I just don't share that stuff with people if they don't do it or they're not interested in it. Like, I don't bring it up.
If they don't show that much like an intense amount of interest that you believe it's worth sharing and giving of your energy.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not. For everybody.
It's also priorities too, I think. And so like at the end of my career, when I'm like retired, like I'm just like doing nothing, I'm gonna like pay off all my debt and just live with that super inefficient, but it's like just like peace of mind, right? So like there's a time when like when you're growing mathematically, is like you want to take out debt so you can like leverage more and grow. But at a certain point, you're like, I don't care, but I just want to maintain. I don't care to grow anymore. I don't care if I even go down. Like I just want to have like the weight of like the stress of like having things. And so like at that point, I'll probably pay off all my properties and just cruise. But then like just because like I'm not trying to grow at that point, right? So
yeah.
You just kind of live your best life at that time because it may be different, and I think most likely it is. That's why you kind of people slow down as they get older and start to enjoy. I think there's I saw like the years that you're the happiest. There's a graph, and it started at 20 and it dropped, and it didn't really hit that until like you're 60, and there was kind of the grind and life and all these other things in between. But overall, it's kind of like the beginning, and you grow into that happiness stage of just kind of like, ooh, I'm okay, And I think that's why.
Yeah, and I kind of just more so just keep learning that it's like I want to help people that want to get.
Yeah.
That's simple as it is. Like if you don't want to be helped, then that's fine.
Can't force it.
That's mindset too.
Before I forget, earlier you mentioned you did youth ministry.
Yeah.
How has that played a role in your success with investing?
I think, just in general, like that, I think just having like a faith and like in a higher power is something it's really helped me as a person to grow in my personhood, but also like just in like my day-to-day activities. I think whenever like you're facing a struggle, like I have like somebody that I can rely on, like my God, right? And so like it's also like when the purpose is bigger than just yourself, I think there's always like an extra gear that you can get to, right? So I think we talked a little bit earlier, like so like you're trying to save yourself from a burning building, right? Like you're gonna try hard. But if you're trying to save your daughter or your wife from a burning building, there's an extra gear that you can kind of hit, right? It's like whenever you're trying to do something for someone other than yourself, you always can like hit another gear or work that much harder because it's more important than just doing something like just for your like selfishly, I think. So just I think a combination of that and just it's fulfilling, like, you know, like it's you realize that like your life here is like so short, like in the grand scheme of things, right? We're like the Bible's like we're a mist, like we're so fast, right? And so if you can kind of take like a bigger, like longer perspective, like so like the best thing is like if you take like a day by day perspective, like you live a certain way. You take a month by month perspective, you live a certain way. If you take like 10 years, so like financial like literally people are like 10 to 20 years thinking ahead, right? But then the eternal guys are like, what about eternity, right? So like you're always thinking about like the levels of like your length of timeline is like the decisions you make today is influenced by the timeline that you're kind of like looking at your life on, right?
Yeah, that's pretty deep. Wow.
Think long term.
Yeah.
Immortality.
Well,
heaven and hell, right?
Right. So it's not, there's life after death. There's something else. We're going somewhere else. So, I mean, if there's a higher power up there, then we're going somewhere. Yeah. Thank you. You shared all kinds of gems. This is pretty awesome. I'm stoked about this. The game
should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool. And I don't know. I enjoy that stuff. The community is so welcoming, and there's so much aloha there. Like. And right now we're gathering only for meetups, and maybe and there's different little huis, but all the huis kind of get along. Shoot, why not? Let's do some bonding and fellowship type stuff too. Other ways to enjoy and keep the community alive and build the relationships. So thank you for participating in this, and
for sure.
I'm excited to see where this goes. Anything else, Koliah?
No, I don't got anything else.
Oh man.
Go on. Keep going. Keep killing it.
What else is there?
Any new business ideas, ventures, or any type of stuff?
Always, man. I always get something like I have so much crazy ideas, but like the hard part is kind of like just sticking to like that. So I was kind of getting coaching with Panetta.
Yeah,
and like I have like all these ideas I want to try, man. Like that they're all gonna make a lot of money, I think, right? Like, dude, like, we should try this, but like, like, bro, like, like, cut all this out. You just gotta focus on like your business is like super like inefficient. Like, get your business like running way better, and then you can think about the next one. So you can't move to the next level until you finish that first level, I think. And so like a good word of advice he gave me too is like that unless the next opportunity is like a lot more lucrative than the one you're doing now, then it's just chasing some shiny object. So like if you're like, hey, like I'm flipping houses, Airbnb, like it makes the same amount. It doesn't make sense to like take your eye off the ball here and try and put all your energy here because now this is gonna falter, right? Or like let's say like what other like long-term rentals or even commercial, depending on the price point, etc. If it's making the same amount as what you're doing here, just focus on here, get way better, go deeper on here, crush it here, and then after this is finished at max. Now you move on to the next one that has to be a higher or bigger opportunity. And so
I think maybe people don't realize that there's an extra amount of energy that has to get kicked in order to make that even lateral transition. So if you're going to expend an extra amount of energy for something that makes you the same, you might as well put that extra energy double down on what you're already working on.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Focus.
So that's the all in, right?
Just focus and go deep into one lane. Or you're just like that trying. When you're first starting, I think you want to try different things because you want to see like what do you kind of resonate with, what are you good at.
Kind of finding your niche.
So in the beginning you just try everything. But once you kind of find your niche and you like have some success, then just like stay in a lane until you kind of maximize it, I'd say.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same way. I'm constantly asking Koliah, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's just that's how my brain works.
But I think here's like my little like cheat code is like I'm not allowed to do everything, but like I'm finding partners, and so we got a few like guys. I was like just like so as long as I don't have to do the work, like I find some partners who will do it with alongside me, and I bring something to the table. Then like my bandwidth is not there, but we still get to do some cool stuff, and so we're gonna be. I don't want to like announce, but we're buying some small businesses here and there, and so like just like another little small like side thing we're doing. So
well, I'm open, or I'd like to actually do like a brainstorming session sometime.
Okay.
Talk story with you.
Sure. Yeah.
I've got all kinds of ideas. I'm actually in the process of actually selling my first company.
Okay.
Yeah.
What company is that?
It's really small, but I'm happy about it. I make billet swing arm extensions for the Suron and Telarios, the electric dirt bikes.
Okay.
So I made these extensions, and it was basically I redesigned something that was on the market that somebody fabricated and then no longer sold. and with the help of Uncle Tony Moniz, Koliah Moniz's dad,
Okay.
he helped me. He let me borrow the part. We went and tested it, and then with his influence in the dirt bike community, it kind of blew up. So almost everybody in Hawaii has one now.
Nice.
And then I've actually been able to ship them all over the world.
Wow. Okay.
And I want to focus on this, my real estate investing. But I've had I'm the only one that's doing orders. I got to communicate with everybody. In
So you're the one man show for
everything. Yeah, and it's not. It was cool, but it's really not bang for my buck.
ROI on that one.
Yeah, it's not. So, but there's no way I want to let it die because this is my baby.
Yeah.
And so I've got a couple of people, and fortunately, it's something that I found a company here that may want to keep it alive. So then I get to, because I have it engraved and it says "Made in Hawaii,"
cool.
and that thing's just going all over the place. So hopefully I'll be able to close that, and then I feel like I had no idea I'd be able to exit. I thought it was just going to kind of fall to the wayside like some of the other things that I've started. They were successful until they weren't anymore, but this one is still going. So it's kind of interesting, and the riding bikes is my passion.
Cool. Very cool.
I'm just going to stick with the fun of the passion, and I'm also passionate about the REI. So here's where I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. That's a learning curve too, but. Well, thank you for all your time, and
thanks for having me.
And before today, we didn't even really talk. I mean, we talked on Instagram, and I approached you on Instagram like I kind of do everybody else. The social media is what's kind of the big common denominator here, and is driving a lot of the awareness. So please follow, share all the content that we'll be putting out, and then you want to put out your Instagram?
You can follow me, Daniel Kong 808 on Instagram. So
like that. And then everybody knows Koliah already. This is awesome. So look forward to getting to know you a lot better, and mahalo for your help and your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, cool.